I was like a very hyperactive, dyslexic young kid. And my life passions are a reaction to that. I was a really challenged student. Like I had to work so hard to be below average. It was a disaster. And I remember bussing tables in high school in what was considered total chaos for everyone else. This is before we had computer tickets. It was like the green dupe pads. You'd see all the green tickets up there and courses going over, and it seemed totally calm to me, totally normal. So I really liked it, and so I was a busboy in high school, and I loved it. And I remember missing Mother's Day brunch with my family because I was working. I remember seeing my grandfather that afternoon after brunch. My grandfather's like, "Man, you really like this industry. Could you pick something easier?" Hi, I'm Bobby Stucky. I am a master sommelier, and I am one of the partners and founders of Frasca Food Wine. Pizzeria Locale, Scarpetta Wine Company, and Tavernetta Restaurant in Denver. What is a master sommelier? It is someone who decided to take the journey on of the path of passing an exam in the wine and beverage world. So what that means is you get to the last level, the MS diploma, and you have to pass the theory exam, the service exam, and blind tasting, meaning not blind like this, but blind meaning 6 glasses that you don't know what they are. You have to find out what the vintage is, what the grape is, what part of the world it's from. It took me about a decade to pass from intro to master. And it was just, I think about it, it was just a really great journey.
One day I saw Bobby at this Wednesday res run, and he asked me if I wanted to run Poor Man with him, and that was one of the first times that had ever happened. Usually people were asking me if I wanted to run, and I said, "I'm running Poor Man," and they said, "Oh, I'm not going to join you."
I love Poor Man. I love so many trails in Boulder. There's so many things. I love Rollinsville. I love Mags. I love running out the res. But Poor Man is this thing that people misunderstand.
One thing I like about the Poor Man Track Club is that it's not really an official club, and we wanted it to be more like an unofficial club that was talked about, but sort of never seen unless you were actually running the loop. The idea with Poor Man was that it's a long, gradual climb, and that elevated heart rate and the pressure on your heart is unavoidable, and maybe the hills slow down your pace and theoretically make it a little more forgiving on your frame, but the pressure on your heart is still there, and it's something that's hard to avoid.
It's so beautiful. Most people think it's totally nuts to run it that often. I wanted to run 104 this year, and I was on pace until I got a stress fracture in my tibia. Maybe I get better and I just clean out my calendar and just run 60 days in a row up there. I don't know. I want to give great compliments. I think you're really doing a great job of making guests feel like this is their restaurant. Colin is a shrimp allergy, no red meat, no pork.
It's easy to be consistent when running is your job or when training is your job. It's a lot harder to be consistent when you work a difficult job and you travel a lot, and the travel and the work hours and the unexpected fires you have to put out get in the way of your running routine. But Bobby, like clockwork, always gets his run in.
I'm allowed to do one marathon every year for my wife, and she encourages it and thinks it's great. She came into my life almost 20 years ago, and I would not be a master sommelier if it wasn't for my wife, guaranteed. I wouldn't have taken the position at the French Laundry if it wasn't for her. I probably would have really struggled with this whole work-life balance if it wasn't for her. She realized early on that for me to get up to be 100% at work, I needed this running and all that. So she's been to a lot of marathons, and she's had brunch with me hundreds of times post Sunday long run, and she understands that, and she's really supportive of that.
It's the only thing I learned at getting kicked out of Jesuit school is the double Windsor. You know? The only thing I learned at Jesuit school before I got kicked out.
I love the restaurant industry. I think it's such a great industry. Some things fight against it to make it hard. One of it is lifestyle. Like too many people in my industry, especially 20 some years ago, drank too much, ate too much, didn't take care of themselves. So pretty much early on in my kind of professional restaurant career, I said I'm always going to carve out time for endurance sports, and it was always really running. I really feel that I would not have had the nice things happen to me in my industry if it wasn't for running. You have to make a decision what's really worth it in your time. And you'd be surprised if you started really like cutting things out. You can work a lot and do those things and still be a good husband or wife or father or mother. We don't have children, but I've been married 18 years. If you're in the hospitality industry, it's all about being in the moment.
One more sip, please. One more sip, please.
You know, when we turn the lights on at 5:30 and guests walk in, you can't not be in the moment. You have to force yourself for hours to be in the moment. Like there's no like lunch break or, I mean, it's like that's in the moment until that last guest leaves. Running really helps you get in that moment so you're totally 100% present.
So we have two quotes back here. One from my old boss, Thomas Keller. Our Kipchoge quote. Hope he gets the world record in